I have $200 and 4 weeks to come up with the best home lab setup I possibly can. And I'm not just doing it by myself, I'm going to be going head to head with Brett, aka Radow, another YouTuber who just so happens to have a good amount of experience of building some budget servers of his own. $200 might seem like a decent chunk of change, but I have a feeling this home lab challenge is going to be, well, a challenge.
No. That was so close.
Oh no.
That was so close.
Oh yeah, gross. Never mind.
That's gross. Oh gosh.
Let's get started. Do you think all chargers are the same? Well, think again, because this is the Nexode 300 watt charger from the sponsor of today's video, UGreen. This is UGreen's first 300 watt GaN charger, and thanks to the USB Power Delivery 3.1 spec, this can charge multiple laptops, tablets, and other devices with a wide range of supported voltages. It has one Type A port on the bottom, but then 4 Type C ports, with the top port providing 140 watts of power. That's enough to charge a completely dead 16-inch MacBook Pro to 50% in less than half an hour. This thing is nuts, and I honestly struggled to find enough devices to really put it to the test. It quickly and easily charged my laptop, Steam Deck, iPad, phone, and pretty much anything else I could find around my house with a battery. And not only is this powerful, but it's also extremely efficient thanks to the GaN or gallium nitride technology, which is substantially more efficient than older silicon-based chargers. If you want 300 watts of charging power in a sleek, convenient, and efficient design, make sure to pick up a UGreen Nexode 300 watt charger today by checking out the link in the description, and also check out UGreen's great Black Friday discounts where you can find deals up to 50% off. Alright, so the rules for this competition are pretty simple. Brett and I each have a budget of $200 and 28 days to try to put together the best home lab setup we can. At the end of the challenge, we're going to have a live stream where you guys can hop on and give your opinions on who you think did the best, but we're also going to have a special guest judge to announce the official winner. There are certain things in this challenge that we don't have to pay for, like tools, cables, hardware for testing, and taxes, because we live in different areas and that would be a little bit tricky. We also just get to assume that we have a combo router modem from our internet service provider to use. But obviously we have to pay for any hardware or software we buy, as well as any shipping fees. Now, I don't consider myself a YouTube celebrity by any means, not sure about Brett, but we can't leverage our status as YouTubers to get better deals. And there's a host of other rules that we came up with that I may have linked down in the description, but I'm not going to go through all of them here. Oh yeah, and we do have the wheel. At the beginning of each week, Brett and I are going to hop on a Discord call and spin the wheel, which is loaded with a variety of rewards and challenges, but mostly just challenges, such as having to use 2.5 gigabit networking, or being limited to only one computer, or being forced to keep your entire power budget under 75 watts. And that's about all there is to the challenge, so let's get started with wheel spin number 1.
Brett, what's up, man?
Yo.
First wheel spin.
I know. Exciting. I think
Sure.
this is...
Not nervous at all.
Yeah, me either. Looking at some of these options. Could put a damper in my plans, but
That's the fun
we
part,
shall
though.
see.
That's the fun
I
part,
know. Okay. Well, who's going first?
though. I'll let you do the honors since you're hosting the wheel.
Okay. Well, all right. Let's full screen it here. Okay. Here we go. Let's see. Do I land on just $10 right out of the gate? Just give me $10. Here we go. Okay, here we go. Here it comes. Mr. $10.
Ooh.
Oh, come on, dude. Okay, well. Interesting. Okay, I have to use ZFS.
I'm way more anxious than I thought I would be. I was anxious when yours was spinning.
Wait, which one do you want, and then which one don't you want? What's the one you'd like to see, and the one you'd hate to see?
Obviously, to add $10, but excluding that one, from a competitive standpoint, I don't think this makes sense. But just from a fun standpoint, I'm almost interested in the off-the-shelf NAS. I think that'll be kind of a weird spin on things. No pun intended. The least excited, other than Open Media Vault, I think the limited to one computer, just because I feel like that'll almost take some of the fun out of it for me. But yeah.
Well, are you ready? Here we go.
Spin it, man.
Yeah, if you get the just straight up $10 at it, I'm gonna be so annoyed. Oh, come on, dude. Right out of the gate, his budget goes up.
I almost wanted to say respin it because I feel bad. I feel guilty. I'm sorry.
I mean, no, you're good, dude. You're good. But that one's gone. Okay, there's our spins. You start right out of the gate with $210. I start out with just having to use ZFS.
Come on, man. Like, what's $10 more dollars?
You'll find out. I feel like you'll find out.
Well, I guess I'll see you back here in a week for wheel spin number 2.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. See ya.
Later.
Okay, so it is day 1 of the $200 Home Lab Challenge, and I'll admit, I am terrified right now. I hopped online to look at some listings and browse around for some deals and get an idea of what I'm going to do, and I've never been this nervous to buy something or to find a good deal, because normally if I, make a bad purchase, it's like, oh, okay, darn, but like with this, the stakes are real. This is intense. But yeah, I've been looking at some stuff online, trying to get some ideas, do some research, and let me show you kind of what I'm thinking right now. So the first thing I actually came across that sort of piqued my interest is this old thermal take case. A lot of times these cases go for really cheap because no one really wants them for gaming PCs and such, but as you can see, there's a lot of room for drives down here. So especially if I was able to talk them down from $25 to maybe like $10 or $15 and then get a system to put inside this, I'd have tons of room for hard drives. Now, if I went this route, I'd obviously have to find a motherboard, power supply, CPU, basically everything besides a case. And that gave me the idea to maybe look at some pre-built computers that I could, strip everything out of and recase to have room for expandability, but get a good deal on like, an older i3 or something like that. Now, I did come across this Dell Inspiron 3847 for $50 essentially, and supposedly it has an i5 4460, but I don't think that's the best deal, especially considering I can find similar things online for a little bit cheaper. The only benefit here is that I believe this is actually at least pretty close to an ATX form factor, meaning it'd be really easy to recase. Now, I also found this Dell Inspiron 3650, which after looking up on eBay, this isn't really that good of a deal, but maybe I could talk this person down from 50 to like maybe $30 or something like that. And this would come with, I believe, it's a 6th gen. I'm not sure. It's hard to see down here. If I zoom in, it's Core something. So it wouldn't be a Pentium or a Celeron, it'd at least be a Core i3-6100, which is pretty solid in terms of performance, but also efficiency. The only problem with something like this is the motherboard is not an ATX motherboard, so I may have some issues getting it into a case. And also I'd be limited to either using their power supply or figuring out adapters, and then I'd have to buy another power supply to power the hard drive. So this route is a bit less tempting. But I actually found something else that was completely different that may be a terrible idea, but I'm honestly really tempted. I found this listing here for a Western Digital Sentinel DX4000, which is an older Western Digital NAS. And yeah, it looks a little bit beat up, but it does come with 3 2TB hard drives, which would be a pretty good deal, and has dual gigabit networking. Now, normally these run Western Digital's operating system that I definitely would not use for many reasons. However, I did stumble across a guide that someone made on how they were able to install Linux on one of these. So I started thinking if I could talk this seller down to something closer to $100, I could get this, have 6 terabytes right now, but maybe toss in another 2TB drive to get 8 terabytes total, and have a very compact and efficient NAS with 8 terabytes of drives, with room in my budget for whatever else. Now, this would obviously have some limitations as this thing barely has any RAM and it has an old Atom processor, but I should still be able to run Linux and set this up in RAID 10 or something like that, and even run a few containers. I think I could swing that with that Atom processor. So I'm going to reach out on some of these leads, see what happens, and I guess I'll let you know how that goes. Whew. This is a lot scarier than I thought it would be. All right, it is day 3 now. I didn't do much on day 2 except respond to a few messages on Facebook Marketplace. The NAS guy doesn't seem to want to get back in touch, and I don't think I'm gonna go that route, as interesting as it may have been. I don't know, it just seemed a little too risky, and yeah, he wasn't getting back with me, so I decided to start looking into something completely different though, which was sort of some X99 Xeon platforms, and I came across a listing for a Dell workstation on the X99 platform. I forgot the exact model, but it should have a Broadwell Xeon, I think 16 gigabytes of memory, and it also has an NVIDIA K2200, which won't sell for much, but I may be able to turn around and sell it pretty quickly for about like 30 bucks. And not much else, but it was listed for 150 bucks. And I talked the seller down to 100 bucks, but I have to drive and go pick it up, which is about 2 hours away. So I'm about to hit the road and go pick that up for right at 100 bucks. And then I should have $110 left for the rest of the challenge. And like I said, maybe I can even make some more money back by selling that graphics card. So let's hit the road and see what we can do. Lost my keys. Oh, there they are. Alright, so I met the guy here at a courthouse, nonetheless. We have our system. It looks like we have K2200 as expected. An extra NIC. I'm assuming that's just a 1 gigabit NIC, but hey, two NICs, that's not bad. I wasn't expecting it to have 2 hard drives. I'm kind of curious now what we have. I'm gonna unplug these real quick. Alright, well my day just got a lot better. We have 2 1 terabyte drives. 2 1 terabyte hard drives. K2200, a Xeon CPU of some sort, 16 gigs of RAM. And it looks like we have some open slots too, so we may be able to upgrade without having to get rid of anything for 100 bucks. Nice. Okay, so pretty big score in my opinion. I mean, we'll see. I'm gonna have to get home and get it turned on. I gotta drive home like another 2 hours because I'm out here in the middle of nowhere, Oklahoma. It's beautiful. It's a nice little town. But yeah, guys, I think this is a really good start. As long as I don't get stuck with one of those terrible wheel spin items.
As long as I don't get stuck with one of those terrible wheel spin items.
I think this is going to be a really good foundation for our budget home lab. So I'm going to drive home and turn this on and make sure it actually even works because I may be getting all excited for nothing. So let's go check it out. Alright guys, so it's day 4 now, I believe, and I didn't get a chance to check this out yesterday after I got home, so it's the next morning, and I have it all plugged in, and I think I'm just going to try turning it on and seeing what happens. I'd like to just at least make sure that this system works before trying to figure out anything else, so here goes nothing. Good sign, we're getting some noises, some beeps, some little fans spinning up. I was just about to check my capture card to make sure that was working, and but it popped right up. Ah, bummer. Only a 4-core Xeon, an E5-1620V3. I think now I'm actually going to try to get an operating system installed. That way I can confirm that we can run this without the GPU. Oh, before that, I should talk about some of the goodies that we have in here. I really need to clean this up because it's pretty gross. I don't know if you can see from there, but there's literally spider webs in here. So this is going to be a fun one. Actually, I might just pop this off real quick. We have our K2200. It's probably a little tough to see, but there are 6 SATA ports. 2 of them are for our 2 1 terabyte hard drives we got, but there's also 2 for 2 optical drives, so we can probably get rid of those and have, oh, you can see those nasty spider webs. This thing is gross. But we can probably get rid of 2 of these optical drives here and maybe have some SSDs or something. We'll see. We have some options though. Then as an extra little bonus, we even got this little Wi-Fi adapter. Maybe I can sell that for a couple bucks. Every little penny and dollar and everything counts. Alright, so really quick off camera, I'm gonna drop an operating system in here to where I can check and make sure that we don't actually need this K2200 for this to work, because if we don't, that'll be pretty huge. So I'm gonna get to doing that. And Ruth's gonna come in here. Oh, poor little Ruthie is recovering from some surgery, so she does not like her cone. Yeah. Alright, you wanna help me install Linux? Okay, let's install Linux. Alright, so I'm going all vlogger mode here, but good news is I got the system booted up without the K2200. So, as you can see over here, we are booted into Proxmox, no graphics card, and right now at idle, our power is only, you probably can't see it, 30 watts. We're at 30 watts sitting at idle, not running anything. That's not amazing, but it's really not that bad. It's not quite as bad as I would have expected. I'm a little nervous if we draw that 75 watt wheel spin. That could hurt this a little bit. I think I may be able to bring power draw down a little bit, but it might be tricky. But I believe that 75 watt mark is at idle, not while running anything under load, or at least not like, anything demanding. I think it's doable. I'm excited though. I feel pretty good about this. I was kind of nervous, but I'm feeling better and better. Everything keeps working. No surprises. That's what I like to see. So I think the next steps are I'm going to start maybe cleaning up some stuff and trying to get the K2200 listed. I don't know. I may try to sell the optical drives. Even if I can get $3 for each of them, that's way more money. That's a lot for this competition. So I think I'm going to go ahead and try to gut everything I know we're not going to use and try to go ahead and get it up and listed. That way maybe I can get some money back and we can start figuring out how to upgrade this thing. So I'm feeling good.
I started cleaning out the case by removing all the weird plastic pieces and brackets and such that make up this Dell Precision, and I did notice that the larger optical drive was actually a Blu-ray drive, so it might be worth a little bit more than I first expected. After pulling the hard drives out, I also realized this case had once been the lovely little home of some critter. So yeah, I definitely need to get that cleaned out. Once I got the rest of the junk out of this odd case, I cleaned it up out on the back porch, and boy was it dusty. I didn't do a deep clean like I normally would because I wanted to make sure I had time to mess around with the system before the second wheel spin. Before putting the system all back together, I dropped in this Broadwell E5 2660 V4, and technically this was a CPU I already had on hand, but Brett and I had an agreement that we could use parts we already had as long as we could find a listing that was readily available for the exact same product. So I found these listed in two places on eBay for $9 with free shipping, so we'll just go ahead and tack on $9 to our budget. This newer Broadwell Xeon has lower clock speeds, but has 14 cores and 28 threads, and has a lower TDP of only 105 watts. Granted, TDP isn't really a good indication of how much power this chip will actually consume. I booted back into Proxmox just using a fill-in SSD for testing, and wiped the 1TB drives, which both seem to be working just fine. I started playing around in Proxmox setting up some containers, and the system was performing really well. Oh, and I also found another nice little bonus item while checking the optical drives. This pretty much wrapped up my first week, so it was time for wheel spin number 2. You want to do like a 3, 2, silent 1? And
3, 2, 1, and we're live.
We're live.
With wheel spin number 2. Oh boy.
How's your first week
It
gone?
has been... It has been more difficult than I thought it was going to be, and my idea was that I was just going to have an idea and go with it, but now I'm realizing I actually have to wait to see what I get on this wheel spin before continuing, because my next step is going to be heavily influenced by what this wheel does.
Oh, yeah.
So I may have already spent over half of my budget, just saying. So
If it wasn't for the $10 I got last week, I'd probably be in the same boat. So,
oh my goodness, this is okay. Well, we did make some changes to the wheel, right?
yeah,
We
added a few options. We got rid of the ones that we landed on last time, and
Correct.
added a few more. So no eBay is one, no Amazon
Yeah.
is a different one. Thankfully, not the
Correct.
same.
Just to remind everyone, I have to use ZFS is where I'm at.
Mm-hmm.
And you just got a
And
$10
I have to
bill.
use an extra $10. It's
Oh, what a bummer.
rough.
All right. Well, who went first last time?
I think you went first last
huh?
time.
Or
so
did I go
think it's-
first? Okay. So you want to go first this time?
I guess so.
Okay. Let's see. What's going along with your $10
Oh, man.
extra budget? Oh,
No.
that was so close.
Oh no.
That
Okay.
was so close. Well,
Oh man.
you now have to make sure everything is under 75 watts. And we kind of discussed this, right? What that actually means.
Yeah. So at idle, like running all of our services, but in like an idle state. So
Like if you present your server that they're like, oh, look, my server can run all these 100 different services. Well, hopefully that's under 75 watts. Now, they don't have to be all maxed out, but you can't just turn on your computer and look at it in the BIOS and be like, haha, I'm under 75 watts. It actually has to be doing something.
yeah,
But
that's gonna be
just
a
idling. That's
This next week might be
depending on
rethinking some things.
depending on what you bought, that could be rough. Okay, I know there are some that I really, really don't want to see. So the big one is probably going to be off-the-shelf NAS, because that would put a huge damper in my major investment that I've already made. So
Yeah, that's a...
okay, let's see. Let's do it. YOLO. Are you? Oh, come on, dude. No.
That's
So now I have to use ZFS with an off-the-shelf NAS.
I mean, you don't technically have to
Okay.
use it with that.
Right,
You have to use
correct.
ZFS on something, and you have to use an
Something.
off-the-shelf NAS for something. I'm just glad I didn't
God.
get that one. I don't know,
Yeah,
honestly.
I'm so happy for you.
The 75 watt for me is scary. So
Well, dang. Okay. Well, I have some brainstorming to do. I will also be on vacation next week. So our next spin, I will possibly be in Mexico. Don't know how that changes anything, but
I mean, there may be
It'll
some
be
really
a
good
little
deals
bit-
in Mexico.
that is true. I will scour the resort for tech deals and see if anyone has anything for me.
Start offering up cash for stuff.
Yeah, really. Hey, does anybody have any DDR3 ECC memory around here? That would be super chill if you did. Okay, well, that is interesting.
It's very interesting.
I have some brainstorming to do.
Same.
Dang. All right. Well, until next week.
Until next week. So enjoy
right.
NAS shopping.
Well, I will. Thank you so much.
This is just sitting at the BIOS. Okay, I'm not panicking quite as much. This is with Proxmox sitting at idle with the graphics card and one hard drive plugged in. I think I'm going to try removing the graphics card and plugging in the other hard drive and see where we're at after that. All right, so I'm on my phone here because it's actually the weekend and I really didn't want to have to work on a whole lot of filming, but I actually had someone offer to buy the Quadro K2200 for 35 bucks, so not bad. We still have a decent amount of budget. We'll have to figure out if I want to spend that on upgrading our current system or if I want to try to sell that whole system and just get something that's a little bit more efficient, because I might be getting pretty close to that 75 watt maximum we have. Okay, so I'm actually at the post office because I sold that older Xeon, the one that came with Dell Precision, for like $4 and something cents. But hey, $4 is $4, and in this competition, I feel like every little dollar is gonna matter. All right, so it is day 8. Over the weekend, I did list all of the components that I pulled out of that system, like the 2 optical drives, the other CPU, the Netgear Wi-Fi adapter thing, and I'm feeling somewhat hopeful about the Blu-ray drive. I may have to sell that on eBay, but I think I can get some money back for it. But I'll be honest, I'm kind of tempted to just post this whole system on Facebook Marketplace, and I could probably sell that for like at least $100. And basically make a profit out of this whole ordeal, which is kind of where I'm leaning, especially now that I know I have the 75 watt limit. I could try to find a decent used desktop with something like 6th gen, 7th gen Intel, especially if I could find something with 2 drive bays. I could even hang on to the 2 drives that are here and repurpose those. I think there's some options, so I think I'm gonna go ahead and list this just to see what offers I get, and then kind of just keep my eyes peeled for good listings, and then wait until wheel spin number 3. I think that's where I'm at right now, so I will check in once I have more details, and yeah. Okay guys, well it is now day 11, so we're basically 2 weeks through the challenge, and tomorrow is our 3rd wheel spin, which will be at the beginning of the next video. I'm somewhat hopeful that we can make the Dell Precision work, but I'm still gonna go ahead and post it to at least Facebook Marketplace to see if I can't sell it for like 150 bucks. Because if I could sell it for 150 bucks and make, I mean, at that point I spent $9, let's just say $10 on the CPU, so I spent $110 on it. But if I sold it for 150 plus 30 for the graphics card,
I'd be, basically going at this competition with closer to $300. So that might be much more beneficial, but then I'm gonna have to deal with the time crunch of only the last 2 weeks of trying to get everything built together. So I don't really know. I think I'm gonna list that system for a fairly high price and see if I can't get some money from it. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it for this half of the competition. We'll have to see what this third wheel spin brings and see where we wanna go from there and see if I can't sell that system online. Now, 2 things, make sure and go check out Radal's video to see his half of the challenge because I have no idea what he's up to. So that should be fun. And then also the third wheel spin is tomorrow, but we're going to be doing a live stream on Radal's channel where we do our last wheel spin, give some teasers as to what's going to happen for the second video, and get to engage with you guys a little bit. I think it'll be fun. So make sure and check the description. I'll have probably a link to that or some details or something. But then also when the second video drops, we're gonna have a live stream that night to sort of see who you guys think the winner is, but also have a special guest who's going to announce the official winner. So make sure and stay tuned for that. Also, if you're a Raid member, either through Patreon or YouTube membership, you can check out the full edit of this video because this video is probably fairly long, but I promise it's much longer in the full edit that you can check out either on Patreon or through YouTube membership stuff. So make sure and check that out. But yeah, I think that's about it for the first half of this challenge. Make sure to stay tuned for part 2 as well as both live streams because I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. So thank you guys so much for watching. As always, stay curious and I can't wait to see you in the next one. Bye.